There is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and continuing our way on with the Not module series, today we're going to be taking a look at Forget Me. So this is the way the module looks, and one of the key differences between Forget Me Not, the boss module from it's a very old one, to this module, is the fact that immediately, as you can already tell, the stage counter looks a little bit different, and one of the LEDs is actually lit up. Normally the LED is lit up for the stage counter, however, in this case, we happen to have a stage that doesn't equal stage 1, and as we click all of the numbers here, except 0, it goes through a series of different stages with a series of different displays. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be figuring out a solution and our initial position, because what this module entails us to do is this module simulates a 3x3 sliding puzzle. Now, you might be thinking, what exactly does this reference? Well, for those of you who are familiar with the concept of a mystic square, this is going to be very familiar to you guys. So, this is basically just us solving a mystic square. However, there are a couple different catches of which I have to explain to you guys. So, how mystic square works is essentially what we have here. For example, let's create a series of random numbers. Let's do 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 1, 5, 2, 7, and then we do 8, and then 6. And then, for example, we place our current position on an X right there. Or a 0 in this case, as it represents with this module. I'll get into that later. So we'll mark this actually with the 0 to represent our current position. Now, the way a sliding puzzle works is essentially what it does is this 0 will basically represent your position of which you happen to have no actual tiles over it. There will always be one tile that will always be left empty for the sole purpose of actually getting you to the to move these guys around. So, what our goal is that we're going to be moving the tile around here, and we're essentially going to be figuring out how to get from the initial position based off of the module to the actual end solution position based off of some edge work from the expert side. So this is the way how this is going to work. Now, the way a sliding puzzle works is essentially, for example, say we want to decide with the 7, what we would do is we press the 7, and it would essentially swap positions with the empty position. Now, bear in mind, we cannot slide positions with, for example, 4, 5, or 8, or 3 or 6. It's only orthogonally adjacent cells that we can swap positions with. So, for example, we can swap with the 2. So we can do the 2 here and the 0 right there. Now we can do the 5. We can do the 0 there, the 5 there. We can do the 4, so put the 4 here and the 0 right up there. And that's the way how this is going to work. So what our goal is we're going to do the 3x3 sliding puzzle, and we're going to figure out what we need to do. So how exactly will we do that? So, in order to get the initial state of the module, the puzzle, we're going to be taking each of the number pairs and ordering them in ascending order on the numbers in the right display. So we're going to be ordering these guys in ascending order while keeping track of the numbers that they actually give us. So for the first one, we're going to do 45-1, 16-3, 58-4. Let's zoom out a little bit here. The next up is going to be 11-7, then 17-2, 56-6, then 79-0, and 23-5, and finally 59-8. Alright, so now let's take a look at what we have here. So we have a series of different numbers, and what our goal is using the bigger numbers, the 2-digit numbers here, we're going to order these guys in ascending order, but we're going to take the numbers that were in the bottom display here, and we're going to order them in the 3x3 sliding puzzle. So we're going to do ascending order, so smallest to greatest, and we're going to get that into our 3x3 sliding puzzle. So taking a look here, it's going to be the smallest one that we have so far is 11. From there is going to be 16, so we're going to take the 7 and then the 3, and then 17 is going to be the 2. That's our first row taken care of. Let's move on down to the second row. So after 17, we have a 23 right here. It's going to be 5. Then, it doesn't go on for a while, but we do have 45 that'll be next, so that'll be 1. And then we have a series of 50s. We have 56 will be first, so 6. Then 58 will be 4. Then 59 will be 8. And then lastly, 79 will be our greatest one, which will be a 0. This is our current initial position, and we did it based off of the smallest pairs from so we did it off the ascending order, smallest pairs to greatest pairs, taking each of the numbers that were in the bottom display and placing them in the correct position. So we go from in basically reading order. That's the way that it goes. So now we have our initial solution here. So we're going to get rid of these numbers. We don't need those guys anymore. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look here, and we're going to go to this table here, and we're going to obtain a solution to the sliding puzzle using the table below for the following page. We're going to start in column 3, in the column of the third serial number character, which should most likely be a number if you're not using any modern widgets at all, and the row of the 6th. So in the column of the third, which is a 3, and the row of the 6th, which is a 7. Let's see here. 37. Now remember, the top left cell in the table starts at 0, 0, for example, if you haven't get a 0, 0 at all. And we're gonna add the number at this coordinate to an empty sequence. So we're gonna create an empty sequence here. So let's do a question mark. Because we don't quite know what our sequence is gonna look like. So we're gonna do 3. Remember, it's column 3. So for those of you who actually are familiar with black hole, you'll know exactly what this looks like. So we're gonna do column 3. So remember, it's 0, 1, 2, 3. Right here, then down to row 7, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down to 1, and then this would be 8, 9, for example, but essentially this is going to be our starting cell. So we're going to start with a 1, and we're going to take this number, and this is going to be the first character that goes into the first position right here, so it's going to be a 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take each orthogonally adjacent unvisited cell in reading order. And if this digit does not appear in the sequence, add it to the sequence, and repeat this with a series of new adjacent cells until the sequence contains exactly 1 of each digit from 0 to 8. So what we're going to do is we're essentially going to branch out from these digits here, from this 1. We're going to go to all orthogonally adjacent cells, so 7, 0, 3, 0, and for example here, so we go up, left, right, down. And now we're going to take all of these numbers in reading order and see if they're actually present in the sliding puzzle so far. So far we already have 1. Taking a look at 7, because this is in reading order, we do not have a 7, so that'll be the next one that we're going to include. Next up in reading order is going to be 0. 0 is not present, so we're going to include that right there. The next up is going to be 3. We don't have that, so that's going to be also next. And then next up we have a 0, which we already have so far, so that's going to be it. And we're going to continue doing this, so orthogonally adjacent, so up, left, right, down. Continuing expanding like so. Do we have a 6? We don't, so we're going to add that. Do we have an 8? We do not. We're going to add that. We do have a 3. We don't have a 4. We do not have a 4, so we're going to add that there. We already did 0. We already did 3. We already did 7. We already did 6. We already did 7. We already did 8. Okay, we're going to expand out one more time. So, and there is no looping around in this table, right? So keep that in mind. There is no looping around in this table. So we're going to do you. We've already done 4. We haven't done 5, so we're going to add that here. And then based off of everything that we have so far, this last digit should be a 2. Because we don't have the 2 here, and just like that, we go through here. So we start at the 5, go to 1, we already have the 1, we already have the 0, we don't have the 2, and just like that, we have our solution. So now what we're going to do is, once we get into the actual module here, I'm going to plan this out actually. And what we're going to do is we're going to press a series of numbers based off of our movements from the initial position to our solution here. And we're going to plan out this series of movements by essentially sliding the puzzle and moving it around. Now, one thing that is important to note, when submitting a code, each digit will move a number in the sliding puzzle, and what we will always do is we will never press the 9 button because it will always strike you. Do not do this, ever. Please do not do this because that will actually strike you. And if we happen to hit and the way that we get into submission mode is essentially we're going to hit the 0, and just like that, everything is ready to be submitted, just like normal Forget-Me-Not. And once we're all done entering everything in, this actually does not have a specified amount of moves. You can simply press this as many times as you want to. However, keep this in mind that it will just branch down at the bottom like normal Forget-Me-Not does until you happen to submit 0 again. So. Certain strikes will cause the LED on the 0 button to become lit, and we will press the buttons at this time to reset the module to its initial state. So, let's get into this. So what exactly is our goal? So we're going to start from 0, and what we want to do is we want to essentially form the sliding puzzle here. So probably our best solution is going to be starting at the bottom here, And we're going to develop this little row of 4, 5, and 2 here because we have this. We want the 0 to be up in the top right. Normally, we would want it in the bottom right here. For those of you who are familiar with Mystic Square, the normal solution would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we would simply leave this bottom right spot blank. However, what we can do is we can actually simply just flip it such that we can just get the top right into here. It is going to be a little bit of a vertical flip, so keep that in mind that we're going to have put the 0 in the top right, not the top left. So we'll have to keep that in mind. So that's what I'm saying. I think we should probably start with getting the 4, 5, and 2 into place down here because it's one of the first rows that's on its own in the bottom here. So let's do that. So what we want to do is we want to start by probably going to the 6, the 1, the 5, and the 4. Actually, we want to get the 2 into place with the 5 and the 2 so that we can just simply grab it here and then just wrap it around. This actually is going to be a little bit of an interesting one. So let's just try to start typing numbers. Now remember, we want to keep track of everything that we press because essentially what's going to be happening is we're going to be moving this sliding puzzle around so that we can get the solution here. So we have to keep track of everything that we essentially interact with so that we can input this all into the module later on. So let's do that. So probably our best approach is going to be perhaps getting... We want to get that 4 out of the bottom left, I think, in order to get the 2 and the 5 into place. Or we can essentially just move the 5 and the 2 around. We can get the 5 over to the middle right here, such that the 5 and the 2 can essentially just curve down here. Like so. So let's try and do that. So let's take a look. Let's perhaps get the... let's try and see if we can get the 5 over to where we want it to be. Now what we can do is we can actually move the 2 down into the bottom right, so let's try that. So let's do 6, 2. We'll do a 6 and a 2, and now we're currently at this empty spot. And then what we can essentially do is we can move 3, 1, so we can do 3, 1 here. So we can do 3 and then, 3 and then a 1, moving this down here to 0. And now what we can do is we can essentially move the 5. We can move the 5 into the middle right here, and then, so let's do 5. So we have these guys now grouped together. That's perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to essentially loop the empty space up to the top so we can get the 5 and the 2 to be in the top right, the 2 being in the top right, and the 5 being in the middle right, so that we can come down here to the 6 and the 8 and simply just move it in. So let's do that. So we're going to do 7, 1, 3, 2, 5. So we're going to do 7, 1, 3, 2, and 5. Right, and now we're at the empty space right here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do 8, 6, 5, 2. So 8, 6, 5, 2. So 8, 6, 5, and 2. So 8, 6, 5, and 2. So now the empty space is going to be right there at the top right. So that's going to be, remember the 0 represents our empty space. That's the way that this is actually noted down in the actual module. So now, to end the bottom row here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a 3, 8, 6, and a 5 and a 2. So 3, 8, 6, 5, 2. Zoom out a little bit here. So we're going to do 3, 8, 6, 5, and 2. And now our empty space is in the middle right. And just like that, we already have our bottom row set up. Note that it's the exact same here. So now, what we're going to focus on is actually going to be getting our middle row here, which actually we're really close to getting done, actually. We're really close to getting this done, but we have to be careful because we want to get the top row such that it's 1, 7, 0, and the middle row such that it's 3, 6, and 8. So let's keep this in mind. So let's try and figure out how we can get the top and middle row set up, because we already have the bottom row set up and we don't need to worry about that again. We simply can just remove this from the equation and simply just focus on these 2 rows here. There's going to be a lot of shuffling around that we have to do. So, and I will leave a link to the description of the actual Mystic Square puzzle, the actual tutorial for it, because it is just a little bit better to know how the actual Mystic Square concept works before learning Forget Me, because this is all about doing it. And for those of you who actually do Mystic Square, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 empty space, this is a little bit of that twist to it. And understanding how the actual movements work is going to be so important. So I will leave a link in the description for that. And yeah, let's get back into this. So we're going to do a, So what exactly do we want to do here? So maybe do we we go 6, 7, 1, perhaps? Or perhaps 6, 8, 1, because we want to get the 1 and the 7 together. Let's try 6, 8, 1. Let's see what that gets us. This probably the second part is going to be the trickiest part of this. Getting one row taken care of, getting the first row that's completely on its own, is really easy until you get to this bit. This bit is probably the less, the more trickier part. So 6, 8, and then 1. We put the 0 right there, up there on the top right. And then, see, the problem is that if we were to continue moving the 1, 3, and 6, it would essentially be flipping everything that we need to be. We would have the 3, 6, 8 in the correct positions, however, in the wrong row, so we would not have that correct. There is probably gonna have to be some separation of the 3, 6, and 8 because we have to rearrange this in some way, shape, or form. So let's do a 1. Let's do a 1, 8, 7, perhaps. So, hold on, let's get rid of the 6 and the 8. Let's leave it right there. Put the 1 back in the top right. Let's perhaps do a 1, 8, 7, and then we can get the 3 and the 6 in the correct position. So let's do 1, 7, 8. So we'll do a 1, 7, and an 8, perhaps. Let's see if that works. And then perhaps we can do a 1, 3, 6. So 1, 3, 6. Let's try that. So 1, 3, and then a 6, so 0 in the middle right, and then do another 1, 3, 6, 1, 3, and a 6, up to here. Okay, this is a little bit interesting. Perhaps what we can do is we can get the 6 and the 7 together, perhaps. We need to separate them, and we need to figure out a way how we can essentially get them into the right positions. So let's actually get rid of that 6. Let's backtrack here. So let's do 6 right there, and then empty space right there. Let's do 7 perhaps. 7, 8, 7, 8. There, 0. Excuse me, that's supposed to be an 8 right there. Then we can do maybe 3, 3, 1, 6, 3, 1, 6, 3, 1, 6, okay. 0 right there. Uh, 0, 7, excuse me, 7, 8, 7, and 8. I need to be careful about that 8 because I need to get that over to the right side. So it would be nice if I could switch the 8 and the 7, but obviously I can't because we're so close yet so far. So let's think about this. Let's be very careful with this because this is like, if we get the 3, 1, 7 together, that could lead us to the ending right there. So we want to get the 6 and the 8 into the correct position, I believe. However, we want to keep the 3, the 1, and the 7 together. So let's try that. So let's actually backtrack on that 8. Let's put the 8 back up in the top left. Let's do a 1, 3, 8. 1, 3, 8. Yeah, again, we're so close. The 3 and the 6 are right in the correct position, however, the 8 is not. We need it to be right over there. Let's try then 1, 7, 6. So 1, 7. Then the 6 right there. Oh, yes, here we go. Okay, then we do the 3. We do the 3 right there, so that puts us in the dead center. Then what we can do is we can do the 8 here, so we can do 8. 8 here. Then we can do a 1 and 7. And now essentially what we're going to do is we're going to cycle this around until we can get the 8 behind it, and then we can just simply do 3, 6, 8. So we can do 1, 7, 8. So we can do 1, 7, 8. We're in the dead center. And then so what we're going to do is we're going to do a 3, 6, 8. I need to do it. Hold on. I need to do it in a specific way so I can get it into the top right. If we were to do 3, 6, 8, 1, 7. So 3, 6, 8, or excuse me, 7, 1, rather, 7, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1. 7, 1. That would put us right there. Oh, and just like that, perfect. All we need to simply do is a 3, 6, 8. I don't know why I'm gasping and groaning. 3, 6, and 8. And just like that, we have done the puzzle. So we've got 170, 368, and 452. They both match the solution, and now we're simply going to input this sequence into the module. Quite a long sequence, quite a long ways. It takes a while, but trust me, it's worth it in the end. It's very, very easy to do. However, it is just a little tricky to figure out the way that you do it. It's like you're so used to doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then empty space. However, this really screws with you, and this basically wants you to do it a different way. So let's input this into the module. I tend to break it up into groups of 3, just to make my life a little bit easier keeping track of it, so I'm going to do that. I'll keep that a 4. Actually, I won't. That's a lie. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Moving on down to here. 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so we're going to do 6, 2, 3. 1, 5, 7. Note that we're never going to press the 9, ever. 1, 3, 2. 5, 8, 6. 5, 2, 3. 8, 6, 5. 2, 6, 8. 1, 7, 8. 1, 3, 6. 1, 3, 7. 8, 3, 1. 6, 7, 1. 3, 8, 1. 7, 6, 3. 8, 1, 7. 8, 3, 6, 8, 7, 1, 3, 6, 8, we hit 0.
Did it, Reddit?
You did it, Reddit, and just like that is a solved module. Let's go over one more example, because this module is pretty straightforward with what it requires you to do. However, it is very important that you keep track of everything that you've taken care of, that you've done in the past, because that's going to be really huge for you. Let me make sure I am recording. I am indeed. Okay. So a lot of it is just figuring out how the actual puzzle works for you, like actual just moving around. Obviously, getting one row taken care of, as you can see, I got that taken care of really quickly, but it's the second part that is a really tricky part. You can get lucky sometimes with the placements and just how you move everything, but it definitely can be a little bit trickier later on. So that's why I had a little bit of some fumbles around there. So let's do this again. Let's do this one more time. This module is pretty straightforward, as I said, so just keep that in mind. Alright, now I'm not going to write down everything this time around. I'm going to simply just get them based off of the positions. So we have, this is going to be 2, so we're going to do 5. And 7 is going to be 0. The next one, I believe, is going to be in the bottom row. 20 is going to be 17, 19, and then 20. So we're going to do 2, then 1, then 8. Okay. Or excuse me, there was the 20. That's going to be 3, rather. And then after the 20, 88. It's going to be 43 then, so it's going to be 8. Then we have, for the last 3, we have 90, 82, and 88. So it's going to be 82. That's going to be 6, 7, and then 4. And this is our initial position. Now for our solution, once we have the third and the sixth characters, 36 numbers of the serial number, so we're going to do column 8 over here. And then row 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And it's going to be 2. So we're going to start with the 2. So let's actually zoom out a little bit here. So we're going to do then orthogonally adjacent, exact right here. Remember, it's in reading order. I cannot stress that enough to you. It's not clockwise order, it's reading order. So it's going to be 8, 3, 6, 7. All of these guys are different. Then orthogonally adjacent again. 0 we don't have, 6 we do have, 0 we do have, 1 we don't have, 0 we do have, 3 we have, 6 we have. Continuing one more time. We do not have 4. We do have 7. We do have 4. We do have 8. We do have 0. We don't have 5, and that's just all. And that's all the numbers that we need to get right there. Perfect. So that's what we're going to be doing. Okay. So taking a look here. So let's actually get this into submission mode here. Let's just do that. Have alarm, please. So remember this, the top part is our initial positions, and now our goal is to get everything to these guys right here. So let's start with the top row. We can get the 2, 8, and 3 in actually pretty easy. Oh, they actually are set up for us right here. So all we can do is just 2, 8, 3. So 2, 8, and 3. Then we can do simply a 1, 5, and then a 2, 8, 3. And to demonstrate, so 1, 5, 2, 8, and 3. And just like that, we've already actually taken care of the first row. That's actually pretty easy. And then the 0 is right there. So now, let's see what we need to do for the second bit here. So we need to get 1, 4, 5 onto the bottom row, and we need to have 6, 7, and our empty spot right here in the middle row. So we already have 6, 7 grouped together, but we know for a fact that we can't get 6, 7 up to the top, middle left and middle that easily. So we're probably going to separate these guys and figure out how we can get 1, 4, 5 in there perfectly fine. So we want to get perhaps a 7, 6, 1, 4, 5, such that we can simply just loop this around after we get the 5 done, and then that'll be good to go. So we want to get a 7, 6, 5, 7, 6, 1, 4, 5 in there. That's going to be interesting. So perhaps what we can do is we can go 4. We can do 4, for example. Let's put us down in the bottom right. Perhaps we can do a 7, 6. So we can do perhaps a 7, 1 maybe? 7, 1. I don't know. 7, 1, 5 maybe or something like that. 7, 1, and a 5 with that middle in the middle left right there. 7, 6, 1, 4, 5. What we can do maybe is we can do a 6, 1, 7. So 6, 1, 7, 4, 5 maybe. So that's going to be putting the 0 right there. We can do 4, 5. Let's see where we're at. 4, 5. Right there. Okay. That actually could be the lineup right here. Oh, actually, wait, we have it right here. We actually have it right here. So that's actually going to be a really simple case. This is actually a really, really simple one. What we can do is we can move the 7. Then we can do, let's put the 7 right up there. So we can do the 7 right there. Put the 0 right there. Move the 4 and the 5. And just like that, we put the middle right there. So we press 4, 5 for the last few bits here. 4, 5. 4, 5. And just like that, we have a solved puzzle. So let's input this into the module. It was actually a really, really easy case. So we'll do 2, 8, 3, 1, 5, 2, 8, 3, 4, 7, 1, 5, 6, 1, 7, 4, 5, 7, and finally 4, 5, hit the 0.
Did it, Reddit?
And just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.